Right, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rob Everett. I am the country manager for Ruckus in the UK and Ireland. Today, I'm just going to be going through the Ruckus portfolio, which verticals we sit in, where we're strong, where we win. So if you've got any questions, please fire them over using the Q&A. So let's firstly kick off by having a look at some of the focused UK and Ireland verticals. So we've got hospitality. Hospitality was one of the mostly affected, greatly affected verticals during COVID. We actually saw a reduction of 92% in our entire HSP business. That vertical is bouncing back. We're seeing opportunities now that we were looking at in 2019. Ruckus in the UK and Ireland are very, very much focused on building that vertical back to where it needs to be. We have a UK and Ireland specialist called Rob Sargent, who works in my team. He is the enterprise account manager for hospitality. It's a bounce back vertical, as I say. Next year is going to be a significant year for this vertical. If we look at education, education has always been a strong point of Ruckus. We're known in the market, we're one of the market leaders. Ruckus really concentrate on a few different aspects of education, whether it is infant junior schools, whether it's secondary schools, whether it's then going into what I class as further education, whether that is colleges or specialist universities. And a subsidiary of education that we really do well in is the private education sector. The private education sector pretty much look at a solution sale rather than a product sale. So how can they make their lives easier? And don't forget, guys, these are the people that have significant investment into their schools, whether it's a multi-campus education trust or whether it's a single site private school. The deal sizes are significantly higher than a government funded opportunity. So that's a sector of education that we really do dominate. Large public venues, and you'll see a lot of this from the slides. Large public venues is something that Ruckus really pride themselves on, that our access points and our wireless solution is known for our high density, multiple people connecting to an access point at any one time. And you will see us if you go to a conference center, it'll be Ruckus. If you go off to, or you could even use hospitality as an LPV. We got multiple people congregating in one meeting room, whether it's an event or something along those lines. That's where you will see Ruckus. And there's many venues, many case studies that we have within our portfolio that we can share with you. And we have a specialist joining us in January that will be looking after that, along with our MDU and mixed use vertical. So MDU, and some of you on the call may not be familiar with the terminology MDU. So MDU stands for multi-dwelling units. What do I define as MDU? So MDU is everything that has a bed that isn't a hotel or a hospital. So this could be anything from student accommodation, assisted livings, care homes, retirement villages, build to rent, build to sell apartments, private residential, whether that's housing developments or housing associations. All of that will form part of the MDU. And then what I class as mixed use is where you have, great example, I've got an awesome case study that's on my LinkedIn page. If you don't follow me, please do and have a look at the recent Wembley Park case study. That's what we class as a mixed use development, and that could be consisting of residential apartments, retail spaces, bars, restaurants, gyms, stuff like that. It's used for multiple purposes. And then also within MDU and mixed use, you have something called multi-tenanted buildings, and these are where flexible workspace, shared workspace areas where you have a real estate owner that's renting out desk space or floor space or anything else like that. And actually that we see that as one of the biggest growing verticals in the next few years. And that's as a result of COVID, people closing down their real estate buildings or turning them into a mixed use or an MTB focus, and actually creating revenue, an incremental revenue stream for owning that piece of real estate. There's lots of different areas, and MDU mixed use and MTB is actually one of our biggest verticals that we're going to be focusing on hard. And then moving into one of our last verticals that is very much a focus of Ruckus, which is manufacturing, logistics and warehousing. And again, I mentioned Rob Sargent at the beginning of the call. This is actually one of Rob's verticals that he will look after as well. So if we split this out, so manufacturing of goods has increased. We're buying more online, which means the need for warehouses has increased. And actually, you can look at the retail sector. The retail sector has changed massively in the last 5 years. That you look at high street retailers are moving away from actually having stores now, or they'll have a few stores that will become showrooms. And then you go away and you order stuff online, and in turn, then you need that warehousing space to be able to cater for it. And then in turn, you need the logistics side of things to be able to deliver that to your customers. And again, this could be classed as a large public venue or a large venue rather than public venue, where you're covering huge warehouses, huge high density, multiple handheld scanner devices, barcode printers, all of that being connected over your wireless solution. And this is where Ruckus are really strong, and that we will win most of the time. And again, if you've got any of these opportunities that you're looking at, please contact Purdicom, your account manager, into one of Ruckus's account managers, and we can share with you where we've been successful. So let's have a look at some of our customers that we've sold into. So I've mentioned there's a few different examples here from large public venues: Goodwood, Silverstone. You could class Wembley Park as a large public venue, but it's more of an MDU. And you've got manufacturing. So one of the most world-known AstraZeneca COVID manufacturers. They're on our books. They use Ruckus globally. Workspace, Canvas, shared workspace, education. You've got Sherborne, Harper Adams, even Hartbury University. And Hartbury is an interesting one, who are a massive agricultural university covering hundreds of acres of land. And Ruckus is covering pretty much all of that in the buildings and external areas that get used on a regular basis. So let's just have a look at some of our portfolio. So you split this out into 4 different areas, where it's software and software as a service, our control and our management, our switches and our access points. And if you have a look across the stack, which I'm going to be covering in a little bit more detail on my slides, and where the solutions fit, what we do and how do we manage everything. So let's start looking at the controller and management platforms Ruckus has to offer. So we have 3 different platforms. We have something called Unleashed, which is our plug and play solution. This is pretty much Wi-Fi only. Sorry, my screen's going on a mad one. I don't know why. There we are. Apologies for that. It's very slow. There's a big delay. So Ruckus Unleashed, which is our plug and play solution. Ruckus is really good. Unleashed is really good within like the private residential sector, where you're got multiple access points where you want to control them utilizing an app on your phone. Minimal configuration. You just want to get the Wi-Fi and a decent amount of Wi-Fi out of it and control. And then you've got Ruckus Cloud, which is hosted in Ruckus's data center, sold on a subscription-based model, whether this is a 1, 3, 5, or actually even a 7-year subscription. This can manage both our wireless and our switching portfolio all in one dashboard, and also can be looked at in 2 different flavors. You've got the standard licensing, or you've got your managed service licensing. So these are partners actually being able to manage multiple customers across multiple sites in one dashboard. And then you've got something that Ruckus is really known for in the market, which is our controller-based solution, mainly our smart zone controllers. Our smart zone controllers come in a physical appliance or a virtual appliance. And these are scalable to support the growth of your organization, whether that is just you have a major customer that has their own smart zone controller set up, or whether this is under, again, a managed service offering. So you're going to ask me, Rob, where do these fit within what sort of vertical and which sort of business area? So I've mentioned Unleashed, single site solution. That's where that really plays a key role. Plug and play, limited budget. Let's have a look at Ruckus Cloud. So Ruckus Cloud is actually really good across any sort of vertical, whether that is a single site or all the way up to a large campus. As I say, it's in the cloud. Cloud, everybody's looking at cloud first now. You then got Smart Zone, which is our physical or virtual controller that can be set up in their data center or a partner's data center. And that's really key across the multiple sites, large campus or large enterprise. But actually, if a partner is then setting up their own MSP offering and offering Wi-Fi or networking as a service, that would sit across any type of vertical. Because you can have one system, one site installed, or you can have a huge education trust with 50 sites. You can offer that solution to whoever. So let's have a look at our wireless access points and what we have in our kit bag. So we have something called good, better, and best, and pretty much do exactly what they say. So let's have a look at the good ones first. So you've got the kind of entry-level APs from your outdoor, which are the T series, and then your indoor, and then something called your speciality. So outdoor, we have a low density and then a high density AP. And then indoor, we have a low density, but as you're going up the ranges, you can see we go right up to a huge 8x8 R850, which is a big high density access points that you'll see in huge areas like conference centers and places like that. Typical deployments, you will see single site, small building, not many staff. You might see an R350, but you'll typically see an R550 or an R650 deployed in those sort of areas. And then if you're going into something like a multi-tenanted building, so you've got multiple people connecting into quite a small area, then R850 or even an R650 would be perfect for those sort of environments. And then you've got our best-selling access points, which are our H series. So H stands for hospitality or speciality. So you've got 2 flavors of this. You've got the H350 and a H550. So the H350 acts as a normal access point, standard antennas built into it, really high performing AP, but it's got a 2-port switch built into the bottom of it. So if you've got it into the room that you don't need a PoE out port in your access point to power a handset, for example, but you need to connect a fridge in, or you want to connect a TV and it acts as like a little mini network, then that AP is absolutely perfect in that environment. And then you go up to the bigger of the 2, which is the H550. And this has a 4-port switch built into it with a PoE out port as well. So PoE out could power a handset or power anything else. So one of the things I would like you to kind of take advantage of here is the future proofing of these access points into your network. So these, most of them apart from the R350, come with built-in IoT capabilities. So you'll see it on the screen here. So IoT, Internet of Things, buzzword that we've talked about for many years. You have the ability to manage IoT devices from your access point, whether that is a Bluetooth device or a Zigbee or a LoRa or actually even a Z-Wave device. You can actually connect and start transforming your network into a single operating network just from powering and managing your IoT devices from utilizing your access points. So a lot of you would have seen there's a new piece of technology, which is Wi-Fi 6E. Wi-Fi 6E is the stopgap between Wi-Fi 6, the portfolio that I've just presented, and Wi-Fi 7 that will be coming next year. Ruckus have taken the decision to actually not put much investment into the Wi-Fi 6E portfolio. And in fact, pumping most of our investment into the Wi-Fi 7. And the portfolio that I've just presented, we will be creating a Wi-Fi 7 variants of those APs very, very shortly. So watch this space. But there is a requirement to provide Wi-Fi 6E. And we have launched two products, the R760, which is shipping now, and the R560, which is orderable now and shipping in the new year. So again, if you've got a network that's looking at Wi-Fi 6E, because there's lots of people that are looking at, we have the ability to provide that. So Ruckus aren't really known in the market for our switching portfolio, and apologies if some of you already do sell it, so thank you for that. But let's just have a look at the switching portfolio and what we kind of have available to you all. So the legacy behind our switches is their Ruckus Switching Now, ICX. Previous to that, they were known as the Brocade ICX switching. And even previous to that, they were known in the market as Foundry networks. So the legacy behind these switches goes back tens of years and actually has the ability to be able to support any part of your network, whether that's from the access layer or the edge, having small switches, whether it's an 8-port, 10-port, 12-port, silent fanless switch, we have those available. Or whether it's a multi-gigabit switch to be able to cater for the high performance of Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E products. Or whether it's providing non-PoE, PoE, or even PoE plus. We literally have a switch that will meet any of your needs. Then as you start to go up the stack, you'll start realizing that actually we're a big player. We have the switching portfolio available to any part of your network, where it's the ICX 7550, which is in the mid-access or aggregation layer. That switch was launched about 18 months, 2 years ago. Right up to the ICX 7850, which is a big core switch, 100 gigabit ports. That actually won the CRN core switch of the year against Cisco and even Aruba, which was an awesome achievement. Also add that all of the switches and all of the access points can be managed via your smart zone controller or your cloud, or actually even your Unleashed. And to have two different parts of a network in one central location, in one dashboard, is really, really important. And some of you, if you have got orders on the system, you would have seen that there are delays in these switches at the moment, which we are working around. We are manufacturing more switches than we've actually ever manufactured in the history of Ruckus. But actually to kind of mitigate some of the manufacturing issues and the shipping delays, we've got the brand new ICX 8200 range of switches. So these are, they feel pretty much exactly the same as an ICX switch, but the difference is it carries a different chip. So we're moved away from the Broadcom chipset into a chipset from Marvell, and we're able to manufacture these units in their tens of thousands now to be able to ship mid to late January. and that's mid to late January in 2023, by the way. So these are awesome, and if you're interested in them, we can set up calls with again, your Purdicom account manager, and they've got a technical team that we're able to run through everything with you. We're able to provide the pricing. The difference is these are higher spec switches, so these come 10 gig as standard with some 25 gig ports as well, but they include 3 years tax support in the bundle. So where we've gone away previously from having ICX, say 7150 available in 3 different variants, a 1 gig, a 2x10, and a 4x10, these are 10 gig as standard. And actually the price point is very, very similar to a 4x10 gig 7150 switch. So really good news that these are shipping, and if you need products to help support some of your existing projects that you have in place at the moment, we're able to do that. So any information that you need on these, please let us know. We can arrange some calls, introductory sessions, anything like that. It's all available. So let's have a look at something called CloudPath that sits into our software platforms. So CloudPath is known in the market, and competitor would be the likes of a Aruba ClearPass or a Cisco ICE, something along those lines. So it's a network access control tool that will resolve a lot of issues, the likes of a user experience, and even in line with that is the IT help desk headache. So being able to move away from IT help desk tickets, or I can't get on my Wi-Fi, I can't remember the password for the Wi-Fi. It kind of mitigates all of that and starts providing a solution that will help you onboard, but also segregate away from guest and corporate. So if you need a guest splash page that you want to register, whether that's in your own offices or in your customer location, then you can actually set this up. It supports the IoT explosion, so to be able to onboard IoT devices securely. It mitigates any bring your own device breaches and actually malicious users. If it's detecting any malicious users on your network, then it can automatically kick them off. So it's a really, really good tool if you're looking for that security tool to be able to onboard certified devices. That's what CloudPath can do. Again, all of this is available as part of our portfolio. And this can be done either as an on-prem solution or a Ruckus hosted cloud solution. And it's done by the amount of devices connecting into the network. So again, let's look at the pricing. Anything else that we can help you with, we have the ability to do it. And then what you can do, this is what pretty much a day-to-day onboarding session would look like, whether this is your own devices, your BYOD, or your visitor guest devices. It will create a splash page which can be personalized to either your company or your end user company as well. And what it does in the background is either a guest or a corporate user utilizing integrating into your Active Directory. So Rob Everett works for Comscope, Ruckus. I've onboarded my devices. So whatever office I go to now, I will stay connected because it knows who I am. But I'm turning up to Purdicom for the day to go and work from their offices. It will know that I don't work for Purdicom, that it will only give me that guest access, internet only. And actually that could only be for a 24-hour period as well, to again, around security breaches or anything else like that. So something that we've started to lead with now when it comes to selling a solution is what we're classing as a business management tool, which is Ruckus Analytics. It's done and quoted on a license base. So it's one license for an access point and one license for a switch. And then what that is giving you is mitigating a lot of the issues that you're seeing within an IT help desk or an IT department. always being reactive? Can you actually catch a problem before it blows up? That's what Ruckus Analytics does. I've got too much data or too little data for troubleshooting. Can this technology help me cut through any of that noise? Yeah, it can be used as a troubleshooting or even a capacity planning tool. And I've got a lack of relevant reports for my stakeholders. So I'm being requested by my board of directors that I need to justify why I've just been given, or why I was given $1 million. Might not be $1 million, might even be $50,000 to invest in a whole new infrastructure consisting of Wi-Fi and wired. The board of directors want to see an ROI, want to see how it's performing. You have 12 months worth of reports to be able to download and present into any sort of board meetings. This will sit in a cloud solution hosted by Ruckus and will integrate into either your Ruckus Cloud subscription or your Smart Zone model as well. So what does it give me? What core features does Ruckus Analytics actually give me, and where will I see a benefit? So you got the network health dashboard, looking at how my network is performing. It pretty much says exactly what it does, really. So being able to proactively look at your network, looking at how my wired and my wireless is actually performing. Look at your machine learning driven incidences. So looking at what's happening in my network. And then that actually then pulls through into your client troubleshooting. What is actually happening within my network? And you see here, you've got some pictures on the top right hand corner that I've got green boxes and red boxes. Obviously, red boxes are bad. So red boxes are what's going on. How can I resolve those red to make everything look green? And we had a scenario, and it was actually a Ruckus scenario, and I use this as a great example on how Ruckus Analytics helped them and actually us identify what was going on. So most of their access points were deployed brand new R650s when they first came out. And when they came out, they had a software that contained a bug that affected a few people in a network. So most of the pictures on there you would see would be red. That helped us identify that the issues were actually being caused by the R650 APs. But how do I get rid of that? So they used it on a support case to Ruckus. They had Ruckus support. And we're able to issue a patch really, really quickly to resolve. And literally within 10, 15 minutes, you saw all of those red boxes turn green immediately, and no issues ever since. I mentioned the comprehensive 12-month reports that you're able to download and you start utilizing as some of your development planning tools, or even presenting to your board and justification why you've given and why you need investment could be used for that as well. You have those built into the Ruckus Analytics tool to be able to download and utilize. And then you're looking at your AP wireless LAN assurances, you're looking at how my APs are performing, how many people I've got connected to it, do I have too many people, where the issues are, where the noise is. So all of this is now starting to provide a proactive tool to help people. If you see some stats here, 42% of network professionals spend too much time troubleshooting. You then start looking at that 42% of their time, moving that into, well, actually, how can I reduce that down to, say, 20%? That 22% of a saving transpires into a cost saving. 38% of network professionals cannot proactively identify performance issues. But straight away, that's what Ruckus Analytics is doing. It's looking at your performance issues in your network and get them resolved really, really quickly. And actually ranked number 1 in any IT help desk's issues is your Wi-Fi, your network challenges around your Wi-Fi. And again, analytics can be used to mitigate any of those issues or concerns within a network. So RA, faster resolution. So RA stands for Ruckus Analytics, by the way. We love an abbreviation in Ruckus, and I think any US-based tech company does. Faster resolution on network issues, reduction in remote location visits, and a better planning through your trending analysis, what's happened in your network. And if you have your busy periods, so say if you've got onboarding of universities or colleges once they've got their results, that you know from 12 months history what your network and the performance of your network look like, and how then you can start planning to have the right amount of resources to cater for the amount of people that are going to be arriving or going to be inquiring or anything else like that. And then moving on to the last part of the portfolio is Ruckus IoT. I mentioned that our access points have the ability to manage IoT devices. You're going to ask, how do you do that, Rob? So let's just have a look here. So you have a couple of different elements. You have what we class as the things on the left-hand side. They are IoT things. They're connecting utilizing your IoT ready access points, but don't worry, if you don't have IoT ready APs already in deployment, we have IoT dongles that are able to plug via USB into the bottom of the access point. And actually then they start providing the management capabilities for your BLE and your Zigbee IoT devices. And then they connect into your Ruckus controller, again, cloud hosted via Ruckus in our data centers, integrating into your wireless LAN or your cloud controllers to be able to provide that management. And then you have your APIs into your services management portfolio, bringing everything together. So then you have one dashboard to be able to manage all of your IoT devices across all of those different manufacturers. And that's really important because I mentioned time within an IT team. People don't have time to log on to a Bluetooth network or a Zigbee network or anything else. You had everything in one location. You were able to make the changes that you need in the programming, the configurations, everything else. You can just do that from one platform across one manufacturer, which hopefully will be Ruckus. So let's just summarize on Ruckus. Outstanding Wi-Fi and switching, and actually it's a great case. Ruckus are known in the market for the performance and stability on our Wi-Fi products, whether that is utilizing our technology, our patented technology built into our APs, which means you need fewer access points to cover larger areas against the likes of an Aruba or a Meraki as a great example. Your simplicity of the management. We have a management platform that pretty much suits any part of an organization, any part of a network. We have that available to you, and it's proven. We've done it for many, many years, and we've also enabled organizations to grow as they grow. And that's been really, really critical when you're starting up to set up a great example, the bottom bit here, a low-cost MSP, setting up an MSP. I was speaking to a customer that was looking up a different manufacturer, and they wanted to set up an MSP offering in their data center. This manufacturer wanted £750,000 to be able to set up an MSP offering. You can do it from one Ruckus virtual smart zone controller by two, just for resilient purposes, but you're able to manage up to 10,000 APs from just that one controller. That controller, by the way, has a list price of $1,000. So after discount, you're talking $450 to be able to have a fully up and running MSP model. And then don't forget, when you're starting to look at the likes of an MSP, whether it's a smart zone control license that you're looking at, it's a perpetual license, which technically means you own that license. So if a customer then wants to upgrade in 5 years' time, they have ability to do that. And then underpinning all of this is that intelligent insights into what is actually going on in your network. And this day and age, it's really important. Data is one of the most costly areas of an organization. What do I do with that data? How do I manage that data? And actually, what does that data look like? And that's exactly what we're looking at when you're bringing in all the other elements of the Ruckus portfolio. So with that, that was a brief overview of what Ruckus looks like and what parts of the portfolio we have available. Again, you have a lot of resource available to for you guys to call upon, whether that is your account managers within Purdicom or whether that is with us within Ruckus. We have a large systems engineering team in the UK to be able to help you. And we are here to help. That's the whole point of Ruckus and our mentality within the UK. So on that note, I'll thank you all for today. And as I say, we're here to help. Any questions, please shout. So thank you very much and have a great day, everybody.